Welcome to another episode of The American Dream. Got a great show lined up for you where our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American dream. You're going to see some cool interviews today. Also, integrating in some local market advice. Let's go ahead and get this show started right now. Every single day, you are consumed with information. With the 24/7 negative news cycle and the pop culture that's polluting the airwaves, all selling out for the ratings game. Well, guess what? There's a more positive way to look at life. You live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. And every day with our elite network of professionals, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage. And now it's time to fight for your American dream. Now for the word on the American dream. Look, when you watch the national media or see some of the stuff online, I know that it can get very nauseating. There's a lot of phoniness, lacks authenticity. We try and go a different way on this show. In fact, today we're going to be focusing on role models, those who are much more interested in making an impact over an income. You're going to see on the show those who are uber successful, but they're using their strengths to make a dramatic societal shift. They're putting their time, energy, even money into charities and philanthropies. You're going to hear from some former athletes. They're just amazing human beings. Also, we're bringing on local experts out of the marketplace. We don't just bring on advertisers on this show and endorse anyone. We fly across the country to find who we consider to be the best in your local marketplace. So today, when you tune in the show, we hope you walk away from it with something of inspiration, not only from the people that you see, but what can you do? How can you be a role model? Whether it's for your family, your business, or your own charity. That's the spirit of the American dream in today's show. Let's start it right now. All right, welcome back to the American Dream. For those of you who don't know, I'm originally from Missouri, the Show Me State, and this gentleman that's joining us on the show right now is a Kansas City Chief Hall of Famer. He's a Pro Bowler. Many people know him all across the country who follow the NFL. Christian Okoye, who's now doing some big things in charity work. Christian, good to have you on the show.
All right, good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Love having you on, man. Been a big fan for many, many years, being from where I'm from. Of course, everybody knows you by now. Hall of Fame for the Kansas City Chiefs, Pro Bowler. Tell us a little bit about your career. You came from Nigeria as an Olympic athlete and then later pursued your career in the NFL. You weren't even a football player when it started.
Yeah, I originally came to Azusa Pacific, my college in Southern California, near Pasadena. I came as a track and field athlete, throwing the shot put, discus, and the javelin, and eventually the hammer throw. I was working to make the Olympics in '84. Worked extremely hard, looking forward to it. I was doing real well, made the mark and everything, and I was hoping to win a medal. And '84 came around and Nigeria didn't take me. So it was a huge disappointment. And it was then that I decided that I'm going to try football.
So explain that transition from track and field to the NFL.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I hated football. I didn't even watch the game. The first time I came, my friend took me to one of the games, and I thought he was taking me to a soccer game. He told me, when he says, let's go watch a football game, I said, okay. And I was thinking soccer. I got there and it was totally different. I told him, I asked him, what is this? What's going on here? He says, well, this is American football. And he says, just calm down and watch it and see if you like it. And the game started and it was very boring for me. And I told him, I said, let's get out of here. And we left, and I never went to another football game until '84 when Nigeria didn't take me to the Olympics. So within that 2 years, friends have been trying to make me to play football because I didn't like the game. I never watched it before, never seen it, didn't know anything about it. Wow. I want to try it. The friends that I made actually welcomed me, and they took me in as a family. The Kansas City Chiefs organization, Lamar Hunt and his family, my teammates. That memory is just going to live there forever. I still talk to my teammates and I still go back over there every month, as a matter of fact, even when I don't live there. Playing the NFL is like being in a position in such a way that very few people get to be in the NFL and play in the NFL. And being there is one of those things that you cherish.
Well, you're staying very active now. You've transitioned from track and field to the NFL to now philanthropy. You have two charitable organizations, the California Sports Hall of Fame, as well as the Christian Okoye Foundation. Tell us a little bit about your charities.
Well, I started the Christian Okoye Foundation in 1990 because I was born very poor, never had professional athletes or company executives coming to my school, speaking to the kids. We never had that in Nigeria. So, and that's one of the things I learned going to Azusa Pacific. I started going to schools and speaking to young kids and carried that on to when I was in Kansas City too. So when I was in Kansas City, I decided I'm going to start a foundation doing just that. I invited my teammates, coaches, to speak to the kids and do some kind of a football clinic and work with the kids that way. So that's what we've been doing. We've been doing that up until last year, for about 28 years. Last year, I carried my foundation back to Nigeria and formed a youth sports organization out there. So we're doing that over there right now, working with kids and trying to motivate them to do better things as far as education and sports is concerned.
What are your big goals with it? What do you expect to accomplish over the next few years in a sentence or two?
Well, we are accomplishing a lot of things, just for instance, here in US, every time I go to functions, somebody always walks up to me and thanks me for everything that I've done for them because they have attended my clinics throughout the years. So I keep seeing people, businessmen, people that will come up to me with their wives and kids, and they shake my hand for what I did for them, and they remember meeting like Eric Dickerson, Marcus Allen, Junior Seau, and some of the guys that I invite to come and work with me. So that makes me feel good. And now, working in Nigeria, I will try to motivate some of those kids through soccer and eventually baseball and football to do just that, to find their way, get motivated to find their way in life.
Absolutely love it. Well, you represent the American dream. You came here from Nigeria, became a Pro Bowl athlete, and now you're continuing to give back. We love to support you. CaliforniaSportsHallOfFame.org is your charity. We hope that our audience can go connect with you, learn more, and maybe even donate to the cause. Thank you so much, Christian. Appreciate you being on the program.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, more of the American dream coming up next.
Well, joining us in studio now is retired world boxing champion and founder of Answer the Bell Incorporated, Paul Vaden. Paul, thank you so much for coming on to the American Dream.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's wonderful to have you in studio, and I know that you are so busy with so many things that you have going on. So I'd like to talk a little bit about Answer the Bell. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about how that got started and what exactly that means?
Well, at a point in my life during the end of my career, I had some unfortunate episodes that happened in my life. I lost two special individuals to suicide, like back to back in the year of 1999. Following that, I won my third title. An individual that I knocked out in the 10th round, he would never regain consciousness, and he would die 15 days later. As I started to move on and try to go on from that, I was having a very difficult time. Not only being difficult to live with, but I was having an unbearable time living. I really thought I was going to be paid back. I had felt so much guilt. I thought I was going to die. So I had to come back to the ring, not to win or lose a fight, but I had to come back to the ring to come back to life. And I did that. And once I did, not to say that I have all the answers or anything of that nature. However, I was able to pursue my life and understand that I had a deeper, bigger purpose and bigger responsibility for the reasons why I was still here. And that's what Answer the Bell was all about. I made it through the storm.
Yeah, that storm that you went through sounds absolutely, could probably be horrific. Mm-hmm. Was it all you that you were able to kind of come forward and answer the bell? Were there people in your lives that helped try to pick up the pieces and grow into who you are now?
I'll tell you what the inspiration was. It was my son. My son at the time, he was just about to turn 3 years old. And it was very important for me that as my son would read up on his father, be it Google, be it Wikipedia, whatever, that he got the opportunity to read about his father overcoming, not hearing a story about his father, forget about the boxing career, but hearing a story about him not being able to carry on. So it was important that I was able to get through those turbulent rounds of life and still maintain that, that swag of a champion. So, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, I know you're also involved with a few different charitable organizations. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I've been involved with Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation here at the San Diego chapter. I'm involved with the National Conflict Resolution Center. And then I've been involved with the Big Brothers Big Sisters. My thing is, the imprint of a champion to me is not just what you do from a skill level, but what you do with your position. My hero, Muhammad Ali, he always said, the service that you do for others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And it's imperative for me that, that when I'm no longer here on earth, that you know that I had maxed out as far as my contributions to human life. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do. Man,
that's remarkable. And what a quote by Muhammad Ali, and that you live
greatest.
that every day. Now, the struggles that you went through, do you think it's really important for some of the individuals that you work with on the charitable level, maybe through the prison system, Boys and Girls Club, to see that, yes, you can move forward no matter what you've been through?
I think it's really important because it's not me just talking about it, but it's me being about it. And so when they see this individual who is smiling and still soaring and still escalating as an individual.
Well, you are certainly being of service and being that positive role model. Before we let you go, I know we're running out of time. I just wanted to know if you want to mention your book or the film coming up so people can find you and more about your story.
My film, Vaden Versus, which I'm very happy about, is it's a documentary short film basically about my goal was to be champion of the world since I was 4 years old and get to that point, but at the same time get to a part where not only your career stops, but life stops for you, but how do you still keep those champion intangibles, those instincts, and thrive on, and that's what I'm doing, still thriving. Answer the Bell, Inventing Your Life as a Champion, to me, it's just, to me, it takes you through the storms, it takes you through the dreams, it takes you through the hopes, it takes you through the hurts, but it also takes you through the triumph. And to me, it's always important, the ending, that there's triumph in everything that I do.
Well, maybe that triumph feels especially better after you've gone through those horrible points in life for anybody. Paul, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Really uplifting and wonderful message.
My honor and pleasure. Thank you.
All right, that was retired world boxing champion Paul Vaden, and also the founder of Answer the Bell Incorporated. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Let's go out into America's finest city. I call her the Beyonce of real estate. She is a top producer, award-winning realtor, and we go out into San Diego to see what Melissa Tucci has to say about the real estate market. Let's go check it out.
I'm here in the stunning conservatory room of one of the tallest residential buildings in all of San Diego. I'm here with a top producing real estate agent who's going to show us what the view looks like from 23 floors up. Miss Melissa Tucci, it is always an honor and a pleasure to be standing here talking to you. I know last time I got to see you, we were in another spectacular listing, and this is no different. But you know, I gotta say, I see your face everywhere, and I'm a big magazine fan, so I was kind of scrolling through some the other day. So tell me a little about the experience of being in Real Producer magazine.
Sure. So I was asked to be on the front cover, which is a really exciting opportunity. They were able to do an article on me just about, you know, my history and experiences along the way of real estate since I've been involved, you know, almost 20 years ago. And it was just a real honor, and it's amazing, you know, you get a magazine and then there you are, you know, here I am. And it has some other photos and information about myself, so it was really exciting as well. And then also in the recent Pacific magazine, this listing that we're standing here at as well was featured. So it's on the stands right now too. So it's just really exciting to get the word out and be a part, you know, of the community in such a big way.
Yes, and a lot of people don't know you, but you, even though your face is everywhere, you are the most down-to-earth agent I have ever met. Like, you genuinely care about your clients, and you make sure to touch every one of them as if, you know, it was your family member, and you care about getting them in the right home, which is spectacular.
Absolutely. It's a passion to help people, and I really do treat everyone the same, regardless if they're $200,000 or $2 million. I just, you know, want people to be happy and, you know, have always a good experience regardless.
And that's spectacular. It says volumes about who you are as a person as well. But speaking of $2 million, this listing featured in Pacific Magazine is actually just a little above that.
It's actually at 1.59 million.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
even better, it's a bargain.
Yeah. So it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's just under 1,400 square feet, and it's on the 23rd floor in the Electra building. And the Electra building is the tallest out of all of San Diego buildings, 43 floors. So this is a magnificent building that actually used to be an SDG&E power plant. And it's amazing. You could see all of the views. You're facing southwest here. You have practically a 360-degree view, floor to ceiling windows, wood floors, granite counters, recessed lighting, you know, custom cabinetry. It's absolutely spectacular. 2 balconies to enjoy the view. You have great amenities here with a pool, a sauna, steam room, fitness center. So I could go on and on. Yeah. 2 parking spots plus extra space too, and 2 storage units. So this is a real find, and these don't really come on the market too often in this corner of the building. So it's a spectacular unit that I think everyone has to see.
Yeah, and if the audience, you know, while they're showing you the view, it is spectacular. When you walk up here, first of all, you pushed a button to just welcome us as the shades just roll up to see this.
One welcome button puts music on, puts the shades up, puts the lights on. It's like, you know, I'm home. It's amazing.
And it is a spectacular view. So when I got to see and walked out, I can't even believe how close we are to the Coronado Bridge. There's so much incredible development going on, so I'm sure that elevates the price as well as an investment property.
Absolutely. There's constant new building downtown. We're in the Columbia district. You have walkability to restaurants, to shops, to bars, the water park. I mean, there's so many things in this area that make it such a desirable place to live. You don't even have to drive if you don't want to. You know, you have public transportation, or you could Uber, so a lot of really great opportunities.
And the San Diego Coasters is literally across the street. You know, walking here, I got to see it right there. But oddly enough, it is so quiet in here, you can't hear anything.
No, it's so peaceful. It's like, you know, it's a vacation spot, it's a second home, it's whatever you want it to be. It's incredible.
And that's what your client had the opportunity to, he used this as his go-away office, you know? So that's a great option, investment property. You get to look out and have these incredible views.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the best office view I've ever seen. Absolutely. So it's a great opportunity for, you know, anyone looking to live downtown, to be in a, you know, high rise with a view. I just think it's a spectacular place to live.
And you're a top producing realtor for a reason, because you know the areas and you live them. So tell me a little about what's going on in this area.
So the gas lamp, which is, you know, right outside of this area, has a lot of options. There's a walking tour that happens on Thursdays and Saturdays. It's 90 minutes. And it takes you through 92 Victorian houses, which is pretty incredible. They also do a ghosts of the gas lamp district,
Okay.
so they tell you past, present, and I guess future ghosts.
I'm kind of scared of, you know, the whole
Yeah,
ghost
it's
thing.
kind of scary but intriguing at the
Exciting,
same
yes.
time. So that tour happens as well, and that's also 90 minutes. So it's good to get yourself familiarized with, you know, besides just going to a restaurant and bars and eateries and things like that, to get the history of San
The true
Diego.
history. And like you were saying, this building alone had a lot of history. It's called the Electra building for a reason, being San Diego
Gas and electric power
yes.
plant. They have a beautiful conservatory room that has these magnificent high ceilings that you could have parties in, or just relax and read a book. I mean, it's just absolutely spectacular. They have a 24-hour concierge here as well. Another exciting event that's coming up, you know, being the official agent of the Padres,
Yes,
I'm
you
super
are.
excited about it, is opening day. which is March 29th. And we're going to be playing against the Milwaukee Brewers, which is really exciting. The first time in 5 years we're not playing against the Dodgers.
Yes, it is always the Dodgers.
And Dodgers such a big rival, and always, people
gonna have to
driving
wait.
down.
That's okay.
Yeah, they're just going to have to wait. So that's really exciting. A lot of fun activities and events coming up at Petco Park, and I'm really excited for the season to start.
Absolutely. Well, Melissa, always a pleasure. I can't wait to, maybe I'll get to go out to the next opening day with you, We'll
Yeah, that sounds good.
But thank you again for having us in this spectacular listing. If you haven't seen it already, everyone has to check it out.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
I'm going to spend a little more time on this incredible balcony to just truly appreciate this bird's eye view of everything the Columbia District of San Diego has to offer. A special thanks to Melissa Tucci, the official San Diego Padres realtor and the #1 agent at Coldwell Banker, for having us at her electrifying listing.
All right, welcome back to the American Dream. The world has changed, and nothing illustrates that better than the fact that we're doing a Facebook Live right now for all of you watching online, and this will also roll into our national show of the American Dream. And also, with probably the best guest for that, friend of mine now, Tony Giordano. You are the founder of Giordano Industries, which is an accumulation of several companies. Let's talk about the things you have going on, man. So I see you all over these national networks being interviewed on everything from real estate to Bitcoin to business development, and you have a massive following on social media. It's a crazy world we're in.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy world, and it's all kind of come to me just in the last few years with the explosion of online media. That's kind of what led to all these different ventures and the power of social media marketing and video marketing.
How do you navigate that noisy world?
I always try to compare social media and online media in general as the words online presence, just overall having a huge presence online, and comparing it to real world for decades before social media. An example is, to simplify it on what it really is, it's just where people are today. But humans haven't changed. We're just online. So we still get warm and fuzzy when somebody says happy birthday to us on our Facebook, just as if I said it to you eye to eye.
Sure.
So what I do is I compare it to what was it 30 years ago. 30 years ago, it was being invited to the barbecue or the chamber networking event, but now I can just do that online. So I connect with the right people and realize that it's just the modern day living room. It's the modern day table surrounding where we're all just talking, but we're just doing it in a comment thread on some post on Facebook or Instagram or any network. And then the noise is, if it's the modern day neighborhood today, social media, then what's the modern day mailbox? Social media, the news feed. And what's filled in our mailboxes at home? Junk
mail.
And what's filled in the news feed now 10 years later? Junk. And so how do you separate and find great content out there that separates you from the noise and the junk, and it's what people want. And that's what I've personally done, and that's what I try to teach others to do.
Yeah, so explain your coaching model and how you're helping others.
Mostly business professionals.
Okay.
I educate two sides of my world. I educate the client when we're marketing their property for sale on why the power of social media is so important.
So we're talking real estate on this niche?
Exactly,
Yep.
and getting them to understand the power of it, but also educating them, because if I'm talking to a client who owns their own law firm, then what I'm teaching that person that I can do to push their listing and sell it, they can turn around and benefit their law firm by doing it to the same fact and boosting and promoting their law firm and demographically targeting with social media. But then on my coaching side, I educate my peers, my colleagues. I educate other real estate agents the power of it, how to execute it, how to understand it better, but then also outside the industry. Insurance agents, small business owners, whoever is in the business of the more people they meet, the better their business does. It's literally the exact same approach.
So the other day, you and I were at a $45 million listing up in LA, and you weren't even talking to me, but I eavesdropped on a conversation you were having where you were discussing, so we just talked about social media and putting content out there, but you were discussing something like LinkedIn and the ability to connect with people on a really high level. Explain how it actually can bring a deeper connection relationally, even if you're not face-to-face with people.
So all of the networks have a niche. And I call them the modern day magazines. Like wherever you were pushing your brand or promoting your brand or listing 20 years ago in some magazine locally, and you had to reach a certain demographic by being in that magazine because older people read it versus younger people read that one. Today, the modern day magazines are all the social media networks. And so what I try to do is identify each of their niche and compare it to 30 years ago. So Facebook is the social network. Instagram is the visual network. Twitter is the news network, and LinkedIn is the professionals network. Wow. LinkedIn is the modern day resume, and if you go in there purposefully to build relationships with people outside of your own profession, you know, example, the average real estate agent has 380 connections on LinkedIn, and 370 of them are their local competitors in that city. They're not getting any business from them. They're not building relationships. But why aren't we building relationships with the CEOs, the CFOs, the COOs of the biggest corporations in our surrounding city that house the most employees, AKA homeowners? And why aren't we getting in front of them and connecting with them? And LinkedIn is by far the most powerful network out there when it comes to business
You know, it's fascinating about what you say. So I just got a New York City meeting with Gary Vaynerchuk, and one of the things he discussed was, and you just hit it on the head, all of these are different platforms. To do the same content on those platforms is the wrong way to do it. He also mentioned the fact that you might be dealing with someone who's in a different mood on the certain platform they're on. Sometimes people want sound bites, sometimes people want to watch a 4-hour Star Wars episode. So dealing with the moods of people in those different platforms is a critical element to how you build that brand and how you market it. Let me switch gears real quick. Tell us about your book.
So in 2011, I was writing my book, the first one, obviously pretty skinny. I was writing the first book, The Social Agent, and I didn't realize what would come out of it. I was speaking nationally for the real estate industry. It was before I started going into multi-industry, just teaching others how I was capturing so much business from social media. And somebody had said, you should write a book, just as a guide to make people, make it easy for them to understand. And I said, okay, so sure enough, I wrote the book, it released in 2012. And with the book came even more speaking. And with more speaking, the book ended up becoming an Amazon bestseller nationally and internationally. And then for the past couple years, I've been writing the second edition, which releases in 2 weeks. And it's just called The Social Agent 2.0. And that one just goes much deeper. It's 3 times as thick into the technique and strategy like you were referring to on what Gary teaches as well as what I teach.
Awesome, man. Well, I hope our audience will be smart enough to connect with you online if any of this resonates. You're a business professional, an entrepreneur, real estate. Tony's the man. Connect with him online. In your Instagram feed?
My personal Instagram is Tony_Giordano. And my business Instagrams are Tony Giordano Team, as well as my real estate side is The Opulent Agency, which is a luxury real estate.
Awesome. Find this guy. He is the man. Tony, thanks for coming on The American Dream. All right, more of the show coming up next. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Hey, don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. Please engage in the conversation. Find us online. Find us on social media. We'd love if you could help spread the word of this positive news. That's all for today's show. We'll see you next time.